So just started recording them. Today's call's more gonna be sort of like covering little things like what we would expect to see in these last 2 weeks. Then we'll be talking about like post eliminate and what we should be really like focusing on over these 2 weeks that puts us in the best position for post eliminate. And also to bring into a few things into perspective to like how well have you done these, how well you think you should have done, because with these programs, group coaching programs like such as like eliminate, or when you first start a diet, I think a lot of people think you're going to see your abs come through in 8 weeks and you're going to see the most perfect tone body because you stuck to a diet for 8 weeks. And that's, it's sort of putting into realization your actual expectations vs reality. And I think eliminate is a very, very fast kickstart to rapid fat loss, and we do see some great results on it, especially for 8 weeks. But there are a lot of factors that can't be considered when it comes to groups coaching and a kickstart, and that's things such as like your training history, what your current nutrition was like before eliminate, your training experience, etc., etc. And all of these and even things like as far as your childhood, like did you, sorry, I've got the sniffles a little bit, still coming off the back a bit, having a cold last week, but yeah, so like from your childhood, did you play sport as a kid? Because all of these things will have an impact on like on your core, your aesthetics, and also obviously your strength. And then it's like your knowledge from week one. How much did you nail it from week one? How much of the foods you're eating were whole nutrient dense foods, which are going to be utilized better by the body compared to some of these snacks, which maybe maybe make you adhere to your diet for a longer period. So it's what I suppose the question that I'm going to answer here is, what should I expect to see in 8 weeks? And I would say with through eliminating, the way eliminate set up is you should see a physical change within your appearance. Like I would expect you, if you measure yourself in dress size or jean sizes, to have dropped a jean size or a dress size. If you're like monitoring on aesthetics, you should noticeably see a difference. You should look a little bit tighter, a little bit leaner, a little bit softer. Depending on the position you were in, you may start seeing like the outline of sort of like your muscles coming through. Like if you're looking at your shoulders, you might feel a little bit leaner in your shoulders across the top of your chest. For guys, we're more likely to see like your abs coming through. And the same with girls, you'll probably notice your hips coming through, and especially upper chest. And then if you turn around on the back, you start seeing like just above your hips and below your bra line, you'll probably start seeing all of them areas tightening up. And if you are seeing the changes, them physical changes, you are on the right path. Like some people expect months and months and even potentially years of bad habits and bad diets to be undone in 8 weeks. And yes, some people will get them results, but the majority of people will be on the cusp of them results. And if you think you're in a position and you leave yourself in a position to push on through the diet and potentially kick on, that's when you'll start seeing the results. So I would say most people, like if I was to diet someone down for like a photo shoot or a transformation picture, I'd be looking at dieting someone down for 12 to 16 weeks over 8. Like, and that's why I promote eliminate as a kickstart. But for you guys on the call, just looking at the list of names, yous have made a great start. Every single one of yous above where I would expect you to see, just looking at them. And obviously someone watching back, if you are watching back and you're unsure of your progress and where you want to be, pull it in next week's check and just be like, do you think I'm above where I should be, below where I should be, or right where I should be? But all of you guys on the call now, and I've messaged 2 of you outside of this to say, like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. You are right where you want to be. And it's like, then begs the question of when can I see my abs coming through and why can't I currently see them? And it is, like I said, it's this basis of how far, how much have you trained in the past, and what was your like sporting history like as a kid? And some people are genetically born with abs, and like I know myself and my brother, like I don't ever train core, I don't ever train my abs, but I've got them there, and I think that's because of like the sport we played as kids. And it's the same. My brother, he looks at dumbbells and things, and literally his abs will come through. Whereas I've got friends who weren't as sporty as kids, and they find it a lot harder for them to come through. And then it comes down to your strength training, because we know, like, and you'll probably feel it in certain movements, the weight training as a whole, and through your heavier lifts, your compound lifts, you will start using your core, and you will start engaging your core. And then the best way to get, like, if you get down on a diet, and this is why I say it's good to push yourselves on diet and push yourselves on low numbers, because it helps from a mindset point of view going forward when you need to like do the reverse and up your food. Is like you should start changing your focus to progress in the gym and like tangible numbers. So for example, if you get down to a position where you think you've dieted as hard as you can and you're as lean as you can possibly get to, and you're still not quite got your abs come through, or you're having to work really hard and push boundaries probably further than you would like to, and still not quite seeing the desired results, whether, like I say, toned for girls and shredded for lads, because that's the sort of look that most people aim for, and you're not seeing it, that's when you start focusing on your strength and put numbers in there. So for example, you might be like, right, I want to be able to squat my body weight, I want to be able to leg press 3 times my body weight, I want to be able to do a chin up. It's like once you start focusing on that, once you're lean, that's probably when you'll start seeing further progress within your aesthetics and your physique. So hopefully that's quite a long-winded explanation, but hopefully that gives you a bit more of an understanding and enables you to set yourself some realistic expectations of how well you've done and what's next for you in terms of like where, because I think I put a comment on everyone's check-in today. Start thinking about post eliminate. Are you happy where you're at? What's next? And these are the things that you should actually probably take a step back and reflect. Take your pictures, look at your most recent your starting pictures, these your most recent, especially over week 7 and 8, and be like, right, do I see the physical changes? What is it next for me? Am I lean? Do I need to start focusing on strength? Am I still got is it because I've still got like a little bit of body fat to lose? And then this is when we start talking about how far up on the reverse diet you come, because like I said, you can diet for 8 weeks. Eliminate is a push, and even after eliminate, I expect everyone to up their calories to at least the week 9 numbers at the very least. So you at least come up to your week 9 calories, and then if you've still got a little bit to go, again, this is obviously talking generic, and there's a fair few of you in the group. It's like I need to probably take a bit more of a deeper dive into who you are and what your goals are before we start going any further than this. But bring it up and give yourself a diet break. But you could probably push on in terms of a diet, like I said, for another 4 to 8 weeks, but at a high calorie amount. And this is where we start thinking like, what next? And I know a lot of you will be like, well, I still want to diet. I'm just going to try ride it out how far I can go. But this is what I was speaking about in previous weeks: is if you are in a deficit and you are in, like, say for example, right now you're in a 500 calorie deficit from your maintenance. If you bring up your calories by 200, you're still in a deficit. You're still in a 300 calorie deficit, and you will continue to lose weight or drop body fat. And weight, I say, is like obviously tends to be related to the scales, but go body fat, you will drop further body fat because you're still in that deficit. So you might not see it in the scales. You might go through what's called a recomposition, where your body physically changes more than the scales. So, and you can by reversing, by decreasing the deficit, you're going to give yourself more energy, and you're just slowing down the rate of fat loss. So rather than, say, if we put it in numbers, rather than losing like say a kilo a week, you might start losing half a kilo a week. But which doesn't sound like you're thinking, well, why would I only lose half a kilo a week when I could lose a kilo a week? It's so you don't burn out, and you don't crash in energy, and you don't feel fatigued, and you don't crash on your diet. It's like the idea of dieting is how long can you stick to it before you need a break from it till you get to where you want to get to. And it's you diet in like phases, like 12 to 16 week phases, and then have a break for 4 weeks, go again for potentially 8 weeks. So you bring each time you diet, you should be bringing down the time you diet because you should be closer and closer to your goal, and you want to maximize your energy levels. Well, that was a big introduction into everything regarding expectations. Why can't you see your abs? And then giving you sort of an insight as to what to be expecting next. So, does anyone have any personal questions in terms of like, I don't mind answering directly. You guys are on the call, you get the priority. Do you want anything in terms of like thinking of like where you should be at? What do you think you should be focusing on next, or what you should be looking at within your own transformations that I can help you with before you comment on next week's check-in? Anything like that, guys? No, silence again. So probably the next thing to cover is tiredness and hunger. I get it, like I really do. I've pushed diets to the limit myself before, and this was actually one of the main reasons I done my photo shoot. I wasn't doing it just for the pictures, believe it or not, and I wasn't doing it to get all my marketing. It was actually to experience what it's like to be hungry and tired on a diet, and experience what it's like to push myself and be able to relate to yourselves in moments like this. And tired, and when someone said it to me, it just sat so right. It's like tiredness and hunger is expected on a diet because you are giving your body less energy than it needs. So when you're dieting and you think, oh my god, this is too hard, I'm tired, I'm hungry, it's like, well, yeah, that's meant to happen, because that shows your body is using up all of its energy, and then your body is going to have to react to that. It's going to have to start making them physical changes, um so it can obviously, and that's when you start using your body fat. So it's expected, but does that mean it's easy? No, absolutely not. I remember one day walking to work towards the end of my diet, and I was like, walking is hard work here. So, and this is when it comes into the position of like, how do you make your diet as easy as possible? How do you limit hunger? How do you limit the tiredness? And it's going to sound so simple because, like I always say from the start, dieting is simple. It's just not easy. But you want to maximize your sleep. I can go right into all the benefits of sleep, but I'm going to leave the comment as, do not underestimate your sleep. Try to get your 7 to 9 hours, and sleep is arguably better than medicine. That's how far I would say to go when you're on a diet. And I know that doesn't mean go to bed when you're hungry and skip dinner and things like that just so you're in a calorie deficit. It just means prioritize your sleep, and you will make this diet easier. And it's because of hormone imbalances. So you've got two hormones called like leptin and ghrelin, and when you disrupt your sleep, they're imbalanced. Girls, you can probably relate to this, and the closest thing to do this is obviously when you girls are due on. Think about how hungry you are when you're due, and it's because of a hormone imbalance. Lack of sleep does the same thing, but for hunger. And for the boys on this one, imagine when you're hungover or you're drunk at the end of the night, and you're heading to Burger Palace, Turkish Kitchen. It's the same thing. Your hormones are in balance, so you're getting extra hungry even though you don't need the food. So yeah, just you want to prioritize sleep, and then obviously you want to drink your water. Make sure you drink. This is why I post every week about the reminder for the water. You want to be drinking 1 liter for every 25 kilos you weigh. I think someone asked, is juice acceptable? Yes, you can put like little bits of Robinsons or whatever in your juice. Just make sure you're aware of the calories. And then obviously it's the food, it's the nutrients, it's a lot of the lean proteins, your fruit, your veg, your oats, your potatoes, all the kind of things that keep you full. And I see a lot of people when on a diet, they're looking for the perfect snack. It's like, what is the perfect snack to like get your protein in and keep you full? And like through eliminating, building into it. I want people to do that. I want people to find their snacks because that's going to help you adhere to your diet longer. But you should be prioritizing them nutrient dense foods. It's like, what's a good protein snack? Because my protein's low. We'll just have more protein in your main meals. Like have a bigger portion of chicken, have a bigger portion of tuna in your lunch, have an extra egg white, put some cheese in your diet. And it's like they're the things you should be doing at this point of your diet. You shouldn't be. Sorry, guys. Can you hear me? Can someone just let me know they can hear me?
Yeah, all good.
Sorry, girls and Scott. Internet's appalling. I went to Shaw and they said that we don't have the internet with them. I went back to them. I went back and checked the box and my bills and it's all with Shaw. So I'm not sure if they don't have me set up properly because that's the second or third time it's happened and it happens to me a few times with my check-ins as well. Um, so yeah, what I was just getting at is like you want to. I don't know which bit I got cut off, but it's all about prioritizing your whole nutrient dense food and trust me. I know I say this, but like trust me when I don't want people to be restricted with their food because I'm certainly not, and anyone who knows me and knows what I'm like knows I like to eat my food. And the last thing I would want for someone on a diet is to not feel that they can eat what they want. So it's like if you and like that's why I do the challenges as well. Like make your big breakfast, make your lunch, make a takeaway dinner. These are all good as like your one off. But if you're trying to do it every single day, every single night, that's when you'll find yourself hungry because it's like things like grenade bars. Yes, they've got 20 grams of protein in it, but the protein in it is is it the right word? Synthesized protein. I hope that's the right word. It sounds smart anyway, doesn't it? But yeah, I know what I'm getting at. It's not like the nutrients from like say a chicken breast are more going to be used more by your body than say like synthetic protein. Yes, I was correct. It's from like a grenade bar, etc. So just that doesn't mean you can't go and eat like a bag of pop chips if you've got 100 calories left and a few carbs left to hit if you fancy it and you're on the sofa. These are the times I'm saying like when you're trying to diet, for example, your ideal perfect snack to get your nutrients in might be Greek yogurt, like 0% fat Greek yogurt, berries, etc. But if you get in and you can't be bothered putting it all together and you just want to pick up one of them Kebab yogurts or the Lindau's or Nutri chocolate mousse ones and you just want to bang one of them out, just have it. And it's the same with me. Like I have an omelette quite late at night, but sometimes I get in from work or football and the last thing I want to do is have an omelette. So I'll just grab a grenade bar. And that's when I use that ready-made protein. It's to substitute when I can't make the effort or don't feel like having the nutrient dense version as such. So that covers a lot of what to expect in the next 2 weeks. And what I would say is, like I said, and I'll repeat it just so the reason I repeat this so much is so that you don't feel you're the only person on this. Like dieting is simple, it's not easy. So make sure you're keeping the majority of your food choices relatively simple. And like, for example, if I use this, you probably see me post my porridge quite a lot on Instagram if you follow me or if you haven't blocked me for posting my porridge so much. But most of the time, especially when dieting, I'll just literally use oats, whey protein, and berries. But throughout other parts of the year, when I'm not in a dieting phase or etc., I'll add in like squares of dark chocolate, peanut butter, honey, etc. But in the dieting phase, I'll keep it dead simple. And it's the same as when I do things like my yogurt, exactly the same. My lunch, I'll stick it to just I won't add in all the extras. I won't add in all like things like beetroot and that, even though it's veg, it's just like just keep everything dead simple. Chicken, peppers, courgettes. And then if I fancy like adding in extra veg into or like putting it into a wrap instead of having it with rice, I'll do that when I'm out of my diet phase. And I just keep things dead simple to make sure like everything's ticked off. And then I try and have my flexibility on the weekend where I'll start talking to you next week about like what to do. Do I still track calories after eliminate? Do I not track calories? And it all comes down to personal preference. But it's for me, I like to track Monday to Friday. Friday tends to be a higher day So for example, let's just say I'm on 2,000 calories and my high day is 2,500. I'll have Monday to Thursday be like 2,000. Friday will be 2,500, just to let me have that little bit more food if I'm going out with Amira or the boys. Saturday will be on track because I've got football. I just sort of try and eat quite similar breakfast, lunch, and then evening could be either takeaway or drinks. And then Sunday will be try and stick within my 2,000 calorie target, but I might be a little bit flexible on my protein, carbs, and fats rather than being bang on the numbers, just to allow me to enjoy life. And that's how you, for me, that's how you find the balance. It's like you still got to be aware of the diet, because you've got to think, if you go back to the point of your pre-diet where you're just eating what you want without any care in the world, without tracking it, you're only going to reverse out what you've done. So just be aware of that and start thinking about these things, because this will leave you in a position, and that's what you want to be in. You want to be in the best possible position to lead yourself forward, which leads me on to the last point, which is booking in calls and post eliminate. Once you've had a thought about where you're at, where you want to be, etc., do let me know, because I will be booking in calls as of next week and the week after, and then obviously that will probably be it. And when it comes to, obviously, I say this every year because people ask about coaching and one-to-one coaching and how's it different. What I will do is, if people want, I will ask a one-to-one client to come on and talk about the difference, because obviously I can explain this on next week's call if not. But what I will be doing is I will offer a discount for my online coaching. So my online coaching has gone up to £200 a month from the 1st of December. So it will go up to £200 a month. But for anyone that comes off the back of Eliminate, it will be £175 a month. So if that is something that you want to do, please try and book in the call at the earliest convenience and we will get you signed up. But like I said, Eliminate still running. You still have 2 weeks post the diet to obviously get yourself back into routine, give yourself a little bit of a diet break, let your hormones, etc., reset before anything else is moving forward. But it's just to let you know that is what's coming. I don't want anything hidden from you guys. That's what it is. So a little bit of a discount for you guys, for anyone that wants to come into one-to-one. But other than that, do we have any questions about today's call, about making the diet easier, about food choices, post eliminate, and what you should be doing next? Anything more on me expanding on why you should have abs or expectations and being realistic? But like I said, you guys on the call have done exceptionally well, and I'm proud of your guys' progress. And I think over the next 2 weeks, you'll probably, in the position you guys are in, you'll definitely see more changes. So have a look at them, these your starting pictures, to see how well you've done. But any questions from anyone, don't be shy in speaking up. If you want to ask questions, or if you don't want to put your microphone on, type it in the box.
I've
I
got a
think
question.
Yeah, go on. We'll go. Chloe, you go first because you've come up on my screen.
Okay, so I'm at the point now where I've had so much chicken and so much tuna that
Yeah.
in terms of meals, I'm finding it so difficult to find like a protein source which I'm not bored of. And like even with protein shakes and snacks and stuff, I feel like I'm just bored of protein.
Yeah, and that's fine. Have you? I know this sounds straightforward. Have you tried different seasoning, etc., on your chicken? So, for example, if you normally have peri peri chicken, have you tried putting like fajita spice chicken on your chicken? Things like that.
Yeah, I have done that.
Yeah, and then have you tried looking at the welcome pack for other protein sources, such as like prawns instead of tuna?
No, I haven't really had much else apart from chicken and tuna, to be fair.
Yeah, so like I said, there's no right or wrong food choice. Like instead of so I rotate similar proteins. So like sometimes I'll have chicken, sometimes like a chicken stir fry, sometimes I'll have a turkey mince bolognese, sometimes I'll have a tuna salad, sometimes I'll have a prawn salad. Do you know what I mean? It's like they've got quite similar protein, fat, and carb content. So have a look at them. Well, to be fair, there's not many carbs in lean proteins, but have a look at the welcome pack, Chloe, and there should in the welcome pack there's a list of all the protein, carbs, and fats I recommend. But try things like different season, try it in a different meal. So you've got all the recipe packs as well. So, like for example, you can have chicken on with potatoes, or you can have chicken in a stir fry, or you can make yourself like breaded chicken. It's all dependent on what you've got. And remember, when you get more calories, you get more to play with, so you get more ingredients, etc. So have a look at that. I know that's probably not the best advice, but it's like, don't be scared of changing up the protein. But is it just in general you're just fed up of eating chicken?
Yeah, I think that is what it is. But yeah, like you say, once calories go up a little bit, then hopefully I can start having things like breaded chicken again. And yeah.
Yeah, and like don't be scared of it. Just but try change up, like what I try and do as well. If you're bored of something, try change something up for like 2 or 3 days at a time. So you might have chicken for 2 or 3 days, and you might have turkey for 2 or 3 days, and you might have 5% fat beef for 2 or 3 days. And then you've got a library of meals that might work for you. So
Right, okay.
and it's like, and then but what you do, for example, these, like, you're at your lowest calories for these next 3 weeks. This is like your saving grace. So if you come back from holiday and you need a little 2 week reset, you've got like your chicken and your tuna. You've got your tuna salad for lunch, your chicken for dinner, and that will just reset. And then you can use that always as a, right, I need to push on my diet. I'll go back to this till I start learning. And you'll look at your say, for example, tuna salad, and you see your tuna salad 300 calories with 25 grams of protein. That is then you can be like, right, I don't fancy tuna salad, I'm going to pick something else, prawns. As long as it's around 25 grams of protein and 300 calories, it's probably going to be okay. I don't need to be perfect. And it's so,
Right, okay.
like I said to you, when I say eliminate should be the hardest you ever diet, I really, really mean that. These 3 weeks, you shouldn't ever have to diet this hard again in your life. Like, this is a push, and I know it's a push. That's why I have these calls and the one-to-one check-ins to help you around it. So be aware of it, and if it's like a matter of just getting something ticked off because you're nearly there, tick it off. But then you've got to ask yourself the question, is it going to make you backfire after eliminate, and you want to start implementing things now, then do it. Because if you're like bored of chicken and the first thing you're going to do is go back to chicken Kievs with oil and cheese in it and ham, then yeah, that's probably not the best thing that's going to do. So start implementing things that are quite similar whilst you're on eliminate. Remember, like, eliminate isn't the end of you ever dieting again, or it's not. It doesn't mean once eliminate's finished you can't continue with a diet, or you can't bring it up a little bit, have a little bit of a diet break, and then go again with eliminate, or without eliminate, or with one-to-one coaching. It's like, this was your kickstart to learn as much about nutrition, dieting, and training as you can, and using me as your support. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay, that's perfect.
So
Thank you.
just try it, and you've got the numbers and you've got the spreadsheet there. So if you go and have a prawn salad for the rest of this week instead of tuna, and your weight comes down and you look better in your photos, then there's no bad reason for why you change tuna to prawn. If you're full, you're energized, and everything works, then there's no reason why you can't. Do you know what I mean? That's why I don't give people meal plans, because I want everyone to eat what they want to eat.
Right, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if you are struggling, just post in the group for ideas as well. Do you know what I mean? Someone will come up with something.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the welcome pack as well. Anyone else got any questions? I'm not sure if it was Emily or Hannah or someone that went to ask a question.
Oh yeah, well, I suppose it's kind of a bit more of a statement. Like, I find I'm really enjoying the workouts, but obviously having done them for so long, whilst like your energy levels maybe aren't at 110%, like I find like slightly fatigued, like the less motivation with the workouts.
Yeah, so you're finding you're getting less motivated to do the workouts because energy levels are lower.
Yeah.
So it's again, Emily, this is where like one-to-one coaching comes in and things like that. And it's hard for me to go and put like a generic topic, because I've got Hannah on the call, and Hannah's workouts, she's getting stronger and stronger and stronger every week, and that's motivating her. So it's hard for me to provide that in a group coaching setting. But obviously you've trained for quite a long period of time, so you're more aware of probably your reps in reserve and what's your limit. And you've got, say for example, you squat, let's just use around the number 50 kg, and let's say you were 60 kg and you squatted 50 kg, that's your rate, your strength to power ratio is obviously say 1.1. When you come down to 50 kg and you're still squatting 50 kg, you're actually stronger, if that makes sense, because your output compared to your body weight is better. So then when your food comes up, your strength should go up, and therefore that motivation comes. And also this leads you to like the amount of sets. Instead of doing like 3 sets, you might do 2 sets in a back off, because you're less likely to, there's going to be less variation in your total volume over by having less sets. That's why you don't see me really do 4 sets. It's just to get that to get the total volume. And that's where I know I'm going off to what here on like the strength side of things. Doesn't matter if you drop it. Is don't push yourself too hard. Leave yourself with that 2 to 3, 4 reps in reserve, and that should stop you feeling less motivated. But it should be natural for your strength to come slightly down as at the end of a diet. Do you know what I mean? Because you are limiting your energy levels. You're actually draining them. Do you know what I mean? So if it's because you're not lifting as much, and that's where your motivation's coming, except that's probably why, because you are at the end of a diet. And if you don't lose strength on a diet, as soon as you put your food back in, your strength will go through the roof. Like, but it is normal for motivation to dip in terms of strength to come down if you are at the end of the diet, especially if you've been training for long periods of time. But if it's motivation to do it, again, tired, hunger hormones is normal. And what I would say is structure, routine is most important there, and food timing. Potentially put more carbs into have your highest carb meal before you train, and that should help with a little bit more energy going into that session. Did that cover what you were actually trying to ask, or was that just a little bit off topic?
No, yeah, that's good. It's cool.
Yeah, but it's a bit expect numbers to come slightly down because you are at your lowest energy levels. Yeah, this period. Do you know what I mean? But if, like I said, if you can maintain your strength without it going up, or sorry, without it going down, as soon as that food goes up by what 200-300 calories, that's another 200-300 calories going into your energy levels for training. So your strength should go absolutely through the roof. And that's why when you see my training and the programs I run, it's usually like it will go 8, 9, 10 rather than 8, 10, 12, because that 1 rep is huge, or that 1.25. Yeah, is massive. Anyone else with any questions on anything?
Yeah, Logan, I do. This week, obviously keeping in terms of still wanting to walk on the treadmill for steps, but also burn those extra calories. Like if I did a 40-minute run, interval train run, should I still be doing that? Should I reduce that in the next couple of weeks?
Again, it's energy levels. It's like, for example, if you went and burned, let's use round numbers again, 400 calories on an interval session, but this caused you to crash and eat 500 calories, is that better than doing a 200-calorie walk? Do you know what I mean? So it's heavy lifting, heavy high intensity interval sessions will tax your energy levels a lot more than low intensity, especially at this stage of a diet, because high intensity uses sort of like your glycogen, your carbohydrate stores. We've depleted your glycogen stores, especially like, obviously I can comment, Hannah, because I've seen your pics. You are very lean now. Do you know what I mean? You are right down, and you probably have depleted your glycogen stores, and you're running on your body fat reserve. So you may feel a little bit more drained doing higher intensity stuff. But again, that's subjective to you. Like if you feel you can do it and you don't get tired and it doesn't make you want to overeat or crash on your diet, then yes, burning more calories on a diet is going to be more beneficial. Do you know what I mean? It's like, have you done any high intensity cardio sessions over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, so I try because I want to get into more running, but obviously not push myself. I've been doing one of the settings on the treadmill. I think it's called like, I can't remember what it's called, but I've been doing 40 minutes because I can now do the highest setting.
Yeah. Have you
just
felt
because I'm getting
yourself,
stronger?
sorry, have you felt yourself more tired and hungry after the session or the next day?
To be quite honest, it depends. Obviously, if I'm on a day off and I've done it, not necessarily. If I've worked a 12-hour shift or done a 6-hour shift before and then I do it, So
Yeah.
I try and just do them on my reduce them to twice a week on my days off. I kind of just go, to be honest with you, how I'm feeling on the day.
And that is the right answer for this stage of a diet. It is subjective to how you feel. High intensity will drain your energy a little bit more. Had you been dieting for longer than 8 weeks, if you were more hitting that 12 to 16 week diet phase, I would say probably drop the high intensity and go for lower intensity. But on a 8 week diet, like, you're not really hitting the fatigue and hunger levels. That's why I can go aggressive with Eliminate. Like, you shouldn't be too tired or too hungry from exercise. Do you know what I mean? Because you've not hit like diet fatigue. You're only getting into that stage. So do it. If you feel that's what you want to do, is your choice of cardio. But if you find yourself extremely tired, extremely hungry following it for the next 2 weeks, I would say you're probably like I just used that example there. If you burn 400 but eat 500, is it a good thing? Do you know what I mean? It's like, monitor your energy levels off it. If you are feeling yourself tired, steps, cardio, like low intensity cardio in your workouts is more than enough at this stage. And then you can implement running. But if you want to implement running and you find yourself tired and weight's coming down and you're happy with your physique, remember, you can tell me this in your check-in and I can bring your food up. Like, I've brought quite a few people's food up during Eliminate because they're at the right stage of progress and they want to implement things like cardio, and I've just brought their deficit up. So rather than being on 1300, I've brought them straight up to 1500 calories already, because they feel that they're in the right space to do that.
Perfect, thank you.
Right. Anything else for anyone? No, we're good. And I'm glad it's only taken us 6-7 weeks for people to get into asking questions. So I'm grateful you have asked that, and don't ever feel like you can't interrupt me. So it's good. Keep going. I'm really proud of you guys on the call, and obviously a few that can't make it, but don't underestimate what you can do in the next 2 weeks. Like I said, don't overestimate expectations, but don't underestimate what you can do in 2 weeks and following the rest of this year. Anything in terms of booking in calls and chats about one-to-one or what you should personally do next, get them booked in. Just drop me a message and we'll go from there. Other than that, have a wonderful evening, guys, and I will speak to you during the week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Bye.